Hey United, my name is John and I get to serve on the youth team here at CCF. Um, we're just checking in to see how you guys are doing and to offer you some encouragement. And I just want to let you know that if you guys have any needs, make sure you contact any one of us, whether it's Justin, Chantel, or any of the other leaders on this team. So last week, Chantel walked you guys through some verses in chapter 12. And I'm going to just pick up with that in chapter 13 because there's a lot of real good stuff in Romans. And this situation that we've been through, it's getting crazy. You know, this is something that I've never experienced in my life. And just looking at what's going on through the news and through social media, it looks like a lot of people have differing opinions on just the severity of this issue. And differing opinions on how they need to be responding to government directives, right? Like we're supposed to be doing this whole social distancing thing, and some people are taking that to the extreme. Like I've seen pictures of people just going out and the hoarders that are getting all their toilet paper and just stacked up in their carriages. Meanwhile, me with my 4 kids who definitely don't like to be moderate with their toilet paper use, I can't find any anywhere. But then on the flip side of this, I just saw a picture of actually going on in my town of Warwick. There was a picture of a party. It said Meg's COVID party, and it had a whole bunch of people there, and just people that are kind of shunning what they're being told and just doing their own thing. And so I want to take a look at what the Bible has to say about this. And so in Romans chapter 13, verse 1 and 2, it says that everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. So anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and they will be punished. You know, I get it. This social distancing and staying at home, it's not fun. It's been a week and a half, and I'm already starting to lose my mind. Like, I love my kids, I love my wife, but when you are stuck with the same people for a long time and nobody else, things get a little bit frustrating, right? But we're commanded by the Bible to respect what our leaders are telling us to do. We may not like those people. We may not think that they have great ideas, but we are called to respect them and to follow through with what they're telling us to do. And so I want to encourage you wherever you're at. If you're one of these people that thinks, hey, I'm going to just do what I want to do, be thinking about what the Bible has to say about this and what you're going to be doing to help out other people. But also, I want to just mention that this connects too with our interactions with our authorities at home. Obviously, as a teenager, dealing with parents can be a tricky thing and can be frustrating at times. And especially now when you don't have that extra space that you usually had with school or being out with your friends, it can add more strain to that relationship. But I do want to just encourage you guys to make sure that you are honoring your parents through this situation, because just like our governor and presidents and all that other stuff, your parents are put there and given authority by God in your lives. And you are, again, commanded to respect that. So moving on, in Romans 13, the whole first half of it has to do with that idea of respecting authorities. The second half shifts gears into more of a focus on love, which is always a good focus to have. And so moving forward to verses 8 through 10, it says that if you love your neighbor, you will fulfill the requirements of God's law. For the commandments say, you must not commit adultery, you must not murder, you must not steal, you must not covet. These and other such commandments are summed up in this one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to others, so love fulfills the requirements of God's law. Now, I'll just tell you guys, I am the middle of 3 brothers. And when I was younger, one of my favorite things to do when I was bored was I used to love to instigate fights between my older brother and my younger brother. If I was just looking for something to do, I would make something up and just start something between the two of them. And then I would just sit back on the couch, kick my feet up, sometimes with a snack, and watch the action happen afterwards. And I was good at it. I probably not the best thing to be proud of, but manipulating my brothers was definitely a skill. The trouble was that even though maybe this helped me to get through some frustrating times, it caused a lot of hurt in relationships. It definitely didn't do any favors to Justin and Josh's relationship with each other. But when they finally caught on to what I was doing, it put strain on my relationship with them, and it's something that thankfully we've been able to repair over the years. But it wasn't good, and God's calling us to do the opposite of what I did to my brothers growing up. 1 Corinthians 13 says that love is the greatest of things. It lists 3 things that'll last forever, and it says that love is the greatest one. And so over the coming weeks, we're going to be stuck in our houses a lot more than we would like. We're going to be stuck with our siblings, stuck with our parents. And what I want to encourage you guys to do is to use this time to live a life based on God's love. And what I mean by that is, instead of using this boredom as an excuse to get frustrated with people and to get under people's skin, that you'd cure boredom by blessing someone else in your home. One of the things that I talk to my kids about a lot, because they fight with each other all the time, is that the only person that they can control is themselves. And there are going to be times, particularly during this social distancing period, that people in your house aren't going to treat you with Romans 13 love. Like, that's just kind of a fact of life. Like, not everybody is going to treat you guys perfectly all the time or the way that you want to be treated all the time. But that can't lead us to treat them improperly. Like, I'll admit, I had a tough day yesterday with my wife and kids. And I woke up this morning just wanting to carry that over, but I can't control them. I can't tell them how they have to act and how they have to treat each other or how they have to treat me. The only thing that I can control is how I treat them. And so if I use yesterday as justification to be miserable today, then that's not going to do any good for anybody. And so what I'm asking you guys to do is to be the ones to set the example in your house and to bring joy into your homes by showing love the way that God wants you to. And we can do this in all kinds of different ways. One of the things that I teach my kids and that I try to practice myself is that if I'm frustrated with somebody and I still want to try to show them love, that I'll do a job around the house. Maybe I'll empty the dishwasher for my wife or go out and get groceries or whatever the case is, something to help ease the burden for somebody else during the day. And, it might not seem like much, but that makes kind of a big deal to some people. The other thing is just very simply putting other people first, whether that's, you want to watch what you want to watch on TV and letting somebody else have the choice, or giving somebody first turn on the Xbox, or maybe just not taking a super long time in the bathroom in the morning. But whatever you guys can do to make life easier for your family, I think that that's a way of modeling that Romans 13 love that God's talking about there. I also want to take a second to stress that this idea of loving others during this situation doesn't have to be limited to your family. We live in a really cool time where even though we're stuck in our homes and can't really see a ton of people, that we're all connected because of technology. And so I'm sure you guys are still all connected with your friends and your classmates. But one thing I want to talk about here is last week, Chantel talked about that acronym of HOPE, and the last one on there is elevate above drama, and not to get involved in drama. And that always tends to be kind of the toughest one for us, even as adults. It's tough to get away from this. And I really want to encourage you guys and challenge you guys to use this time away from school as a time to elevate above that drama, because even though you guys are not physically with your friends, I'm sure it's very easy to get into that stuff. And so I just want to tell you guys that if you can, to stay clear of conversations that start rumors and put people down. Use your interactions on social media to spread Jesus's love and build each other up, rather than making people feel small. As a church and as United, we always say that we are for Rhode Island. So let's use this time away from school to put that into action. Hope you guys have a great week and be safe.